Good evening, Tallahassee and FSU. I'm student meteorologist Sammy Squires.
And I'm meteorologist Jay Carstens. After a month away from the airwaves, we are back.
Welcome back, everyone.
And we actually missed a lot in our month-long absence, including the first measurable snowfall event in Tallahassee in 28 years. So plenty to catch up on and plenty to look forward to in the immediate future.
Yes, we are going to be talking about maybe some snow, maybe some wintry conditions for Tallahassee and parts of the whole country, pretty much.
Either way, some bitter cold is going to be on the way here in the next couple of days, really, as a front makes its way through our area tonight. We're going to have plenty more on that later on in the show, as well as analyzing some of the snow and ice accumulations going on across the southeast as of now.
Yeah, we are going to be expecting colder temperatures to come, definitely.
And later on in the lab, I'll also be explaining how exactly we can interpret all these different warnings that we see, winter weather advisories, hard freeze watches, because there's a lot there, and sometimes it might be a little disorienting to read, so I'll try to help make things a little bit simpler for you guys. For now, we're going to go out to Charlie at the wall with a quick overview of what to expect tonight.
Thank you, Jake. Looking at the current conditions out at Tallahassee International Airport, we see 59 degrees. About an hour ago, that was about 63, 64 degrees. So we see that temperature steadily start to drop, mostly cloudy. You see that dew point at 35 degrees, giving us that humidity of 41%. You see how those two numbers are fairly far apart. Gives us those cool, dry air. Looking at the satellite and radar in this region, we see this this front that's going to be making its way over to us. This is dropping off some snow around the Texas, Louisiana area, and later on this southeast Alabama, southwest Georgia, some snow is expected in the overnight hours as well. Looking at the 3-day forecast, we see the Wednesday we're expecting a little bit of rain as that frontal passage slowly makes its way towards us. The high of 40 degrees with the low at 34. But looking at Thursday and Friday, we see those lows drop tremendously. Thursday looking at 19 degrees, Friday 26 degrees for the low. Tonight's forecast, 33 degrees with pretty calm wind, calm conditions, but that will slowly drop for the next couple days. What to expect coming up the next couple days in the rest of the show. Below freezing temps are on their way. Sunny and clear skies are to follow with a brisk and chilly week ahead. Sammy, Jake, what do you guys think?
Well, personally, I'm looking forward to it. This northerner, well, both of us actually from the Midwest here, so we're pretty used to these 20s coming our way.
I'm not excited for it, though, because, hey, I come down to Tallahassee for the warmth, but
I like our little bursts of winter, but speaking of winter, we just want to give an overview of what's going on across the rest of the country here. We have winter weather advisories stretching all the way from Texas through the Florida Panhandle, all the way up the eastern seaboard.
yes, we are talking about Winter Storm Inga.
Yeah, and this thing is dumping plenty of snow, really. Anywhere you look across the eastern half of the country, we've seen some snow and sleet reports coming out of Houston, Austin, actually a place a lot of us were just in last week. Areas of western Kentucky saw over 8 inches of snow today and yesterday associated with the storm.
There are even reports of ice, which is very concerning, especially for the roadways and traffic.
Something that obviously southeastern states aren't very accustomed to seeing too often, which is a big reason we emphasize these things even when you might see, say, 0.1 inches of accumulation expected, because of course we don't really have the ways to prepare for a lot of these in terms of getting the roadways ready and all that, and any kind of ice accumulation can be a real hazard for road travel.
I mean, could we see the third snowfall this time for Florida?
It's looking west of the Apalachicola River like a very legitimate possibility. We're not too optimistic about our chances to see any kind of wintry precip around here because that moisture is just not going to be making its way all the way into the Tallahassee area. But we do see some of those advisories just a couple counties off to our west. We
will be experiencing temperatures that are very chilly, so we could have that precipitation, but most likely not.
Yeah.
But for now, we are going to take a look with Michael.
Sammy, so let's look at the temperature over the past 20 hours from today. You can see in the morning it was really cold. You needed a jacket and a hat to protect your head and to keep your body warm. But by the time we went into the afternoon, we actually reached a high of 65 today in Tallahassee, really around our average high. But that is going to change starting into tomorrow. We are going to probably stay in the 30s all day tomorrow and be in the 40s for Thursday. Now, when we look at the almanac, as I was saying, our high was 65, but we started out cold at 28 degrees. The 65 for our high was around our average again, and the 28 as our low was actually below our average of 39 for this time of year. Now, if we look at currently, it is 59 degrees in Tallahassee. That dew point is low at 35 degrees, but it's going to get much lower as an Arctic front, as we've been saying, is approaching the region. And winds are also pretty light and out of the northwest. Satellite and radar shows the cloud cover approaching from that Arctic front, and that is going to continue to increase throughout the night. And current temperatures show you we're across the 50s, mainly in our region. But again, this is going to be feeling pretty warm compared to what we're expecting these next few days. Now, watches and warnings is a color book across the entire region and the southeast. This light blue right here is a wind chill advisory. That kicks in tomorrow for the Tallahassee area. You can see the purple up in Georgia and Alabama and west of the Apalachicola. For those of you watching there, you are under a winter weather advisory, so expect some snow and some slick roadways tomorrow morning. Travel conditions could be hazardous in those areas. And also we have a hard freeze advisory for Alabama and Georgia, and that's going to kick in tomorrow. Really cold temperatures. You need to protect your pipes, your pets, and anything indoors. Now for tomorrow in Tallahassee, again, we're not going to reach 40 degrees for tomorrow. It's going to be at 38. Now, there will be some showers in the morning. I won't be surprised if we have some snowflakes mixing in, but it's nothing to really worry about for tomorrow. Now, when we look at the 7-day forecast, in the short term, it is going to be really cold. The Arctic air is here for the next 2 days. But then by Friday, we're looking at a pattern change. And look at Sunday, 71 degrees is a high. Perfect for golf, in my opinion. Now, let's send it up to Dylan with a look at Florida.
Yeah, there's much more to the state than just Tallahassee when it comes to this winter weather. We're going to see a lot of differing conditions around the entire state. But for now, we're going to look at our current conditions, and you see this big temperature difference already as this front makes its way in. Seeing 44 degrees in Pensacola right now, and you're going to see all the way down in Miami, 71 degrees. It is definitely a big difference as this front starts to make its way through. And coming into our area in Tallahassee around tonight and into tomorrow afternoon. For your watches and warnings, as Michael just talked about, this light blue is a freeze or wind chill advisory. This purple, a winter storm warning. And behind this, we're under a hard freeze warning. And what that means is you get temperatures below 20 degrees. That's not in effect tonight. That's in effect tomorrow night. So it's something to take into account when going into tomorrow. Just remember to protect your pets, plants, people, and pipes are the big things you want to look out for. Satellite radar showing this front starting to make its way into Pensacola right now. You see the cloud cover start to pick up for them, but for us it's going to start to pick up too as well as we get later into tonight. The rest of the state though staying kind of clear as this front is making its way eastward. For our current winds, you're going to see mostly out of the north, so not a lot of moisture really picking up. You don't get that ocean moisture like we saw with the last front where we got very humid conditions ahead of the front, so we're only seeing winds out of the north, nothing too bad, nothing too crazy. Our current dew points, though, making it feel very dry. The dew point is the indication of when dew forms, and it's really good at explaining how moist it is outside. So for us here in Tallahassee, we're seeing a low dew point of 35 degrees. It's making it feel like you need chapstick outside, very dry. Make sure you are well hydrated and also have your chapsticks for those chapped lips in the event. Now look at this. You see all this orange? That goes away and we see all this green. The orange indicates that dry upper air, but all that's moving out, leaving for some moist upper air with this green. That's really going to show the storms and cloud cover pick up in the next couple of days and then move out after the front makes its way through. For tonight, though, we're only going to see cool conditions on the top part of the state, 34 degrees for Tallahassee, 25 degrees for Pensacola. It is going to be below freezing in the morning at night. For Jacksonville, they're seeing 35 degrees as well, but for the lower part of the state, you're only seeing the 60s and 50s, so they're not getting a lot of the front's impacts right now, and as we move into tomorrow, the problem is this front's going to stall out and really not have much of an impact on the lower part of the state. The top part staying in the 40s and 50s, and down in the southern part of Florida, you're going to see 70s and 60s, so nothing too crazy or cold to worry about. But right now, we're going to take it out with Sammy and Charlie to talk.
All right, thanks, Dylan. We are going to be talking about some events that are happening throughout the next few days.
Right.
Hopefully before the cold hits, tonight we have Vine Trivia, 6:30 at Madison Social.
That's right. That's real close to campus. We're going to have some pretty good weather, so if you want to get out and have some fun out there tonight, it's a good day to take a walk out there, enjoy some of the great food they've got out there.
So good.
Right. I know that dip that they have, everyone talks about. Their kegs never run dry. It's a good place to be.
We also have a free headshot event that will be taking place at the University Center A, and that is January 18th from 1 to 3 p.m. So that's an opportunity if you need to get a headshot for your job, internship, whatever it may be. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and that's especially everyone in the studio is listening to that. I know a lot of people are thinking about going to broadcast meteorology, so that's something that everyone needs to get out ahead of and get ready for. What else we got coming up? I see we've got some musical artists coming up around the area in the next couple days. On Wednesday night, that is 7 p.m. at Baja Beach Club, we've got Space Jesus. He's EDM dance, electronic music kind of guy. So if you're into that, it's going to be, hopefully it won't be too cold for you guys out there going to enjoy some music.
Also, speaking of music, we have an Experience Tallahassee Festival. Along with music, there's plenty of food trucks and activities for students to enjoy. I know there is free food for FSU students, FAMU students, and TCC students, if you bring your ID though. So make sure you bring your student ID for that.
That's right. Bring your student ID. Try and get up there early. Free food brings a lot of students, so it's going to be pretty packed out there.
Oh, 2 to 5 p.m. also. So make sure you head out to do that. But for now, I am going to take a look at the local. Let's see what we are going to be experiencing.
Do you think we're actually going to get some of that snow that we've been talking about?
I'm not sure if we are going to be getting some snow, but we will definitely have chances of precipitation coming in through the evening hours tonight all the way into the morning. Tonight we are experiencing temperatures right around 59 degrees. It is mostly cloudy right now. Those cloudy conditions will continue throughout the rest of the night. And we are experiencing a dew point around 35 degrees, humidity around 41%, making it feel kind of dry out right now like Dylan was talking about. But we are going to be seeing a little bit of moisture coming through our area. And our radar is showing some precipitation may come throughout our way, but right now we are experiencing temperatures right around the 50s for your Big Bend region. 59 in Tallahassee, all the way stretching to 58 over in Wilma, and Carabel and Apalachicola are in those low 50s, 51, 54 degrees out right now. This is the satellite and radar I was talking about. We are experiencing some cloud coverage coming through our area as of right now, and we are going to be seeing some cloudier conditions persisting throughout the night as well. Speaking of the night, we are seeing around 7 p.m. it is going to be dropping down to 50 degrees all the way to 44 to 43. We will be continuing to see those temperatures drop as well around 1 a.m. throughout the morning as well. Tonight's forecast, it is going to be 33 degrees, very chilly. It will be mostly cloudy, but you won't have to worry about too much of a wind. But that cold temperature is something to look out for. So make sure you bring out your winter jacket just in case. Tomorrow's outlook, not much warmer, but a little bit. 38 degrees. It will be a slight warm up throughout that day. We have some AM rain possible. Hopefully not too much ice though. Hopefully not for the roadways. Taking a look at the week ahead, we are going to be dropping temperatures into Wednesday, Thursday, but look at that low, 19 degrees. Watch out for that, but we will be slowly bringing it up to 71 degrees for Sunday. Maybe even a chance of rain too. I guess we'll find out. But for now, we are going to take a look at the National.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sammy. Here's the best look you're going to get of this entire front across the country. Look at it draped down from the northeast to the southeast, all that snow situated with it. That thing is, though, it's not dumping a lot of snow. It's very small amounts of snow. but these southeastern states really don't know how to handle these snowy conditions, so proving a lot of problems for them. So there have been cancellations in Alabama, Georgia, some North Carolina counties are out of school due to the snow that's coming through. But for us here in Tallahassee, we're really not going to see that chance of snow. We might see some slight rain, but nothing too intense. Here's your watches and warnings for the country. These darker purples are showing the winter weather advisories. Behind that, though, you have a darker purple, hard freeze warning, which indicates that these regions are going to see temperatures below 20 degrees into the next day. For us here in Tallahassee, we're seeing that tomorrow night, not tonight. That's not when the big cool down is. When that front passes, we're going to see a dip in temperature, but the following night, that's where we're really going to see our cool down. A lot of winter weather advisories. We do have this light blue, which is a wind chill advisory, so wind chill playing a factor with these cooler temps. So with that wind, it's making it feel cooler outside, so just be aware if you are in those regions. Though, for the current conditions, you're going to see Memphis already behind that front at 14 degrees. That is cold. You see single digits in Kansas City and Minneapolis with 5 and 7 respectively, and that's just cold. For us here in Tallahassee, we're sitting at 59 right now. Not seeing the effects of the front yet, but most of the eastern part of the country in this blue and white, showing how cold it really is through there. For our 24-hour temperature change, look at this. 39-degree drop in San Antonio. That's really where the bulk of the front is sitting right now. So as it's moving farther east, you're going to see this cool down really stick around. For these temperatures drop much greater as we move into the eastern part. You see 24 in Memphis right now, an 18-degree drop in New Orleans. So as it's making its way east, we're going to see those temperatures drop even more for those regions. For the upper level water vapor, though, really define where this front is. You see this line of this dark green stretching all the way down into from the northeast into the southeast, showing that boundary between the fronts. For our current dew points, dry throughout the country, not seeing much. And for our winds, seeing that pattern of the counterclockwise rotation with this low pressure system. And for tonight, we're going to see cool temps throughout the entire part of the country, though the warm spots being San Francisco, Phoenix, and Miami. So very cold temps throughout much of the country. Right now, we're going to send it to Jake in the lab to talk about the different weather advisories we've mentioned on the show.
All right, thanks a lot, Dylan. Obviously, the theme of our show has been these different winter weather advisories and how to differentiate between all these specifically. So we do that because sometimes these maps can be a little bit difficult to look at. We can have these winter storm warnings, blizzard warnings, winter weather advisories, too many to count sometimes, and it can become occasionally disorienting to read. So what I just want to go ahead and do here is sort of simplify this for you. As also have to give credit to the National Weather Service, as they're going to be working pretty hard to simplify some of the ways they convey some of these threats going forward. So a note real quick here is that different areas, different offices have different thresholds for what some of these advisories may entail, mostly because, well, a cold weather day in Tallahassee isn't exactly the same as a cold day in New York City or anywhere else in the north, as I'm sure you could imagine. So here's our first one, the winter weather advisory, which is typically denoted by a light purple color on the map. The criteria for this for Tallahassee is a light snow, generally less than 1 inch accumulation, and ice accumulations less than about 1/10 of an inch. So still enough to cause some sort of hazard to travel or in general just experiencing cold weather. And the winter storm warning compounds that, represented by a very hot pink color that you do see on the map, more to our north and east. This is what was issued for us when we had our winter storm a couple of weeks ago. Ice accumulations greater than 1/10 of an inch and or snow greater than 1 inch, which is what we saw in areas like Valdosta that got up towards 2 inches of snow just a couple of weeks ago. That which was the first time that was issued for Tallahassee since 2014. The wind chill advisories are what's in effect for us tomorrow night. We're expecting wind chill values to drop into the teens, which is why that was issued. And the hard freeze warnings occur for the Tallahassee area by this dark purple color is how it's denoted on the map, when the temperature is expected to drop to 20 degrees, which is what we are going to be looking at potentially tomorrow night. So for now, we'll go back out to Michael, who's going to give a more detailed look at some of the weather around the southeast.
The winter weather advisories and warnings. It's especially useful today and tomorrow. Now, when we look at the current conditions across the southeast, you can really see where this Arctic front is, as we've been saying the entire show. Ahead of it, you're in the 40s and 50s in Atlanta and Tallahassee, but behind it, you're in the teens and 20s in Tupelo and Little Rock. Now, the satellite and radar again shows you the moisture associated with this Arctic front. It's actually behind the front, and most of it is actually snow. You get into a little bit of mix down in the coastal Louisiana area and some rain, But again, most of this front is snow. It's going to move through Atlanta and Alabama into tonight and tomorrow. By the time it gets into Tallahassee, the moisture is going to be really lacking. It's mainly going to be clouds by the time it comes into Tallahassee. The temperature change again with this Arctic front, 33-degree drop in Shreveport compared to this time yesterday. It's a really strong Arctic front. Ahead of the front, we haven't seen much of a temperature increase. A 4-degree increase compared to this time yesterday in Tallahassee, a 9-degree increase in Orlando. But again, temperatures are going to really drop behind this Arctic front. The winds, again, ahead of the front, you have those southerly winds, but behind the front, you have those strong northerly winds, making it feel much colder than it actually is outside. Now, again, let's look at these watches and warnings again and slowly dissect these. Tallahassee, you're under a wind chill advisory that does not kick in until tomorrow. In Georgia and Alabama, you're under a winter weather advisory. Same thing for those in Florida west of the Apalachicola River. What that means is you're expecting some snow and ice for these next few hours into tomorrow morning. And it's, in terms of travel conditions, it's really treacherous for these next few hours. For tonight, 20s and teens behind the front, really cold, especially with the wind. It is going to feel much colder than it actually is. 50s and 60s down in Central and South Florida. And for tomorrow, really cold air. I'm comparing it to what we experienced at the beginning of the new year. 44 in Tallahassee, 34 in Atlanta. The wind is going to make it feel much colder than it actually is. So be prepared to bundle up and get through this cold weather. Now let's send it off to the desk with a look at sports.
Yeah, Michael, it's been a long time since we've been able to talk about FSU sports and the weather accompanying them all over the place. So
Yeah, we've football's over.
Yeah.
Baseball's not in season yet. Softball's not in season yet. Even though both of the guys and gals are conditioning, getting ready for their upcoming season.
Right, but we're transitioning more into the basketball side, and when baseball starts picking up, we'll have a lot more sports around Tallahassee. But the first event happening here is the swimming and diving versus Notre Dame. It's not the best conditions to really go swimming and diving. They're at the Morecambe Aquatic Center, which we found out is outside.
Right,
so
that's right.
when their competition Saturday at 10 a.m. is 36 degrees, it is going to be very, very cold.
That's right, very cold indeed. Friday they have another they actually meet the day before as well. Friday 4 p.m. That's going to be 57, so it's going to be nice and warm for them compared to what's going to be following after them.
No, definitely. It's going to be dry and clear, so that's nice, but it's still going to be cold. The air temperature just not making it feel like a great swimming or diving day.
That's right. I could not imagine getting out of that pool in 36-degree weather.
No, I would not want to do that.
No,
but then we transition onto Saturday. There's two times that the men's tennis team, they play Florida Gulf Coast at 10 a.m., so the same time as the swimming and diving, and also play Eastern Tennessee at 3 p.m.
That's right, and you see the temperature at that 10 a.m. time, you see 36 degrees.
Yeah.
By the time 3 p.m. kicks off, we should have about 63 degrees.
So much more comfortable day as the competition goes on for
right.
the tennis team for them.
That's right, and hopefully it warms up a lot and fairly quickly for the swim team.
Yes, we are definitely.
That's right.
We have women's basketball, not in Tallahassee though. They're at Wake Forest, which is in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. They're going to see 32 degrees at 7 p.m. on Thursday. So not great conditions if you're walking out there in Winston-Salem.
That's right, and considering that front that's moving our way, I would not advise driving to go make that game.
No, definitely not. It's just ice is a condition. They're not going to see a lot of precipitation. It's going to be clear skies though, but just the ice is a factor hitting 32 degrees.
That's right, and getting there would definitely be an issue. Men's basketball game, they are going to be at Virginia Tech on Saturday, I believe, at noon.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather there. It's going to be 44 degrees and clear now that the front will actually get past around that time.
Yeah, and hopefully they bounce back after their loss against Boston College yesterday, but hope it's going well. But now to take things back local, Jake's going to talk about our local.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Let's enjoy this warm weather, relatively warm, while we still have it, because as we've alluded to a few times, it's going to be cooling down really quickly starting tonight. We're right now sitting at 59 degrees in Tallahassee under mostly cloudy skies. That dew point sitting at 35. So not very humid out there, although we're starting to get some of that moisture building its way into our area after a relatively clear day earlier on today. Those winds currently out of the north-northwest at a light 3 miles per hour. And here's the satellite and radar not showing any kind of precipitation right now, as we're not expecting for, say, the next 12 hours to even really try to affect our area. but the clouds are starting to creep on towards the east. So that's the sign that this front is really starting to make its presence felt around here, and this trend is going to continue over the next 12 hours into tomorrow morning, which is when we could see some of that precipitation working into the northwestern parts of our viewing area. Let's jump straight into the forecast now. So tonight we're looking at a low of 33 degrees, increasing cloud cover as we're already starting to see around here. The winds are fairly calm, so the combination of, well, the clouds are going to actually help to sort of moderate the cooling that we could see behind this front here with that northwest wind at only about 5 miles per hour. So otherwise, that temperature could really be dipping down into the 20s. But that's what we're going to start to see tomorrow night, as well I'll allude to a little bit later on. As for tomorrow's outlook, we're looking at a high of only 38 degrees. So one of our coolest high temperature days that we've seen in quite some time around here. Some slight warming, but again, very modest at best. AM rain is possible. We could even mix in a few wet snowflakes. I personally am not expecting much to happen in Tallahassee, if anything. Most of that precipitation should be to our north and to our west, mainly along a line west of the Apalachicola River. So you got to get into the central time zone to really get into the hot spot for some of this wintry weather. Winds are going to be out of the northeast from 5 to 10 miles per hour, starting to build up, which is why we're seeing that temperature be a little bit low. You get that cold air coming in from the north, really helping to cool things down during the daytime. Around the region, pretty similar trend. You don't see any highs really getting above the upper or the mid 40s anywhere in the area. 36 being the lowest high temperature we see in Thomasville, and 40 over in Quincy. We'll have to take a look to see if that could actually break a record low maximum anywhere in our immediate area. And again, the winds largely coming out of the north throughout the entirety of the area and getting a little bit on the gusty side. As for the golf index, well, I'm crazy enough to actually go out there and play, but I wouldn't recommend it for the rest of you. We're rating it a 1 out of 5. Don't do it. It's going to be really cold, really windy. Although the sun's going to be out later on in the day, not the best time to do it. But for the 7 days ahead, improvements on the way. Before we get through that, we got to get through a 19-degree night on Wednesday. We could see our first night below 20 degrees in 6 years. January 4th, 2012 is the last time we got that here. If you get through that, well, look at that weekend. Fantastic, with temperatures starting to climb actually back up into the 70s, which I personally will be looking forward to after getting through a few days of cold. So we're going to finish this off back at the desk where Michael and Dylan are standing by.
Thanks, Jake. So the story for the last few weeks in the eastern two-thirds has just been brutal cold.
Yeah,
it's going to continue.
Yeah, it's going to continue. We saw a bit of warming up since our last front on Friday, but it's getting back colder again. But we are going to see some warm up on the weekend, though.
Yeah, the warm up I'm looking forward to.
But then it's going to get back cold again, so we're just going to
flip-flop. I don't know. I've
heard
heard this next January thaw, as we call it, is probably going to last for a while because it's too cold for golf. They have to close the golf courses.
Yeah.
Cover the greens for all this cold, so I don't really enjoy that.
No, it's not the best conditions. Layers aren't always the best. It's going to feel like we're living in the Northeast for a little bit.
I know.
Dry. You're going to go inside. It's going to be warm. You're going to have to take off 3 layers, and then you're going to go outside, and you're going to have to put 3 layers back on. It's
just been too cold.
Yeah, it's been too cold. But the thing to worry about are your pets, plants, pipes, and people going into this cold, freezing temperatures below 32 degrees. It's freezing. So you're going to see on Thursday night 19 degrees. That's when you're really going to...
19 is brutal. But then, see Sunday at 71. I know probably Jake and I are going to go to the golf course on Sunday, so
yeah,
we have to enjoy that. So.
But hey, you can follow us on our social media. We have a Facebook. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU Weather.
Don't forget about the Twitter, twitter.com/FSU Weather,
well
as the Instagram.
Yeah, and the YouTube. We live stream on youtube.com/FSU Weather.
So for all of us here at FSU Weather and our first 2018 show of the year, well, I'm student meteorologist Michael Annan.
I'm student meteorologist Dylan Leith.